the world's leading AI companies all received failing or near failing grades for their plans to control superintelligent systems. The Future of Life Institute's Winter 2025 AI Safety Index evaluated 8 major AI companies across 6 dimensions, including risk assessment, current harms, and existential safety. And the organization, which gained attention in 2023 for an open letter calling to pause development of the most powerful AI systems, assembled an independent panel of leading experts to conduct its 3rd edition. And while Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google DeepMind led the pack with C plus to C grades overall, every company scored a D or an F on existential safety measures or the ability to prevent loss of control over advanced AI systems. AI CEOs claim they know how to build superhuman AI, yet none can show that they'll prevent us from losing control, said Stuart Russell, a UC Berkeley computer science professor and one of the index's expert reviewers. The assessment revealed a widening gap between top performers and stragglers, including XAI, Meta, and Chinese companies DeepSeek, ZAI, and Alibaba Cloud. Companies across the board perform poorly in the current harms domain, which evaluates how AI models perform on standardized trustworthiness benchmarks that are designed to measure safety, robustness, and the ability to control harmful outputs. The index noted that while none of the tested models failed the benchmarks outright, the consistently poor scores across companies revealed systemic weaknesses on how the industry approaches immediate safety risks. Johannes, do you feel that AI companies are focused on improving the areas that the test covered, or are they continuing to make them a low priority?
In all honesty, I think the main technical takeaway from the assessment is that the industry is making progress on safety, but not in the parts that actually determine whether we can keep future systems under control. So it's a nuanced story. And the big reason for that is where their effort is concentrated. Companies have become reasonably good at what you might call procedural or presentational safety, red teaming exercises, model cards, public safety frameworks, and high-level policy pledges. Those are useful, but the existential safety domain in this index is asking much harder questions. Do you have a concrete strategy for controlling systems that may surpass human performance? Internal monitoring and kill switch mechanisms that are actually tied to risk thresholds, and a serious program of technical safety research, including funding work outside your own walls. So on these points, and the report is really blunt, none of the firms has a credible, evidence-based plan for preventing catastrophic misuse or loss of control. Technically, this is where issues like scalable oversight, interpretability, and alignment failures come in play. We still struggle to robustly explain what large models are doing internally, or to guarantee that the objectives we specify are the ones the system will pursue as it becomes more capable. Researchers have documented problems such as reward misspecification, goals misgeneralization, and the risk of systems learning to appear compliant while pursuing different internal objectives, what is sometimes called deceptive alignment. At the same time, and you mentioned that experts like Stuart Russell have been warning that we're building increasingly opaque systems at a pace that outstrips our ability to understand or control them, while companies collectively invest trillions in more powerful architectures. And you see the same pattern in the current harms domain. The domain leans on standardized trustworthiness benchmarks such as Stanford's Helm Safety and Helm Air Suites, Trust LLM, and evaluations from the Center of AI Safety, which test robustness to harmful prompts, content safety, and a range of system and societal risks. None of the models completely fail those tests, but performance is consistently weak, suggesting that even for today's use cases, misinformation, abuse, privacy violation, the safety infrastructure is immature. Other technical reviews of safety benchmarks have also found that many of these tests are noisy, incomplete, and sometimes poorly designed, which means real-world risks may be understated rather than overstated. So to answer the question directly, yes, the company are working on the areas that the tests cover, but the work is incremental while the systems themselves are scaling exponentially. The competitive drive is toward larger models, more agentic behavior, and deeper integration with tools and real-world systems. Safety research, things like scalable, interpretable techniques, robust red teaming under adversarial conditions, formal risk thresholds tied to automatic mitigation, and independent, uncensored external evaluation has not yet been treated with the same urgency. Even the index itself calls for moving beyond high-level existential safety statements toward quantitative thresholds, concrete control mechanisms, and demonstrable mitigation strategies. So right now, our safety processes are effectively a generation or two behind the models they are supposed to govern. And until that gap closes, and until we see verifiable control mechanisms, not just policy language, you should expect these low grades to persist, regardless of how prominently companies talk about safety in their marketing.